She thought about coming face to face with him. Tension threaded her limbs, and she had to fight the fantasy of throwing the drink in his face. She'd never get his attention like this. He'd come in there looking for a good time, and her vibe was anything but. She eyed the whiskey. She normally avoided hard liquor, but she needed every advantage if she was going to pull this off. And she was so going to pull this off. Besides, however bad the drink tasted, it wouldn't be nearly as disgusting as Jagger. With that thought fueling her, she took a sip, and nearly spit it out. It was vile. How fitting that Hamilton favored it. She thought about setting it down, but she needed to own it as much as possible. Still, the next time she raised the glass to her lips, she only pretended to drink it as she watched a guy in a Hawaiian shirt ask for another card. She slid into a vacant seat at the nearly empty table and waited for the dealer to deal her in. Hawaiian shirt guy leered at her with a look that might have worked for him 15 years and 30 pounds ago, but probably not anymore. "Come here often?" he said to her chest. She rolled her eyes and tilted her body slightly away from him. "No," she said, putting all of her negative feelings about his pickup line, his ogling of her neckline, and his assumption that he still had any sort of game whatsoever, into that one word. He shrugged and went back to his cards, muttering drunkenly to himself. She started when she heard a few of his insults directed at her, then began to have a fierce internal debate over the wisdom of giving him a piece of her mind versus ignoring him. Then she caught a glimpse of him. Jagger, standing less than a foot from her. Holy shit, he was hot. No exaggeration, actual heat settled over her. It might have been the whiskey, but she doubted it. This kind of spontaneous combustion wouldn't be sold over a bar at a rundown casino in Atlantic City. Or if it was, the place would have a line out the door. Instead, they were practically alone, save for the folks at the blackjack table who hadn't even glanced their way. And she was impractically melting. In that one spectacularly disconcerting moment, Kennedy knew exactly why her sister had fallen for him. Square-jawed and gray-eyed, he wore the promise of sin like an expensive cologne, only he smelled enticingly of soap. Soap. He took the seat next to her, his eyes on the table. Time to go big or go home. She split a pair of aces on the next hand, ending up with 19 on one side and 21 on the other, winning twice against the dealer's 17. Hawaiian shirt guy busted hard with 25 and whined like a baby over it. She rolled her eyes and looked away, suddenly finding herself the center of Jagger's attention.
"Can't say I know many women who drink straight whiskey."
His voice was rich with interest, and perhaps a touch of admiration, and the smooth, husky tones lit fire to her everything.
"You play well. Looks like you might be able to teach me a thing or two."
Instinct suggested she yank out a handful of his hair and hope she made it through the door before he notified security. But her fingers had gone numb along with the rest of her. So she just sat there, stupidly not wooing anyone. Unless was some kind of turn-on in his world. She doubted it. She eased against her seat back, hoping oxygen would rush in. His eyes, the color of ice, reflecting under a stormy sky, studied her with measured interest. The slightest upturn at the corner of his mouth incited a dimple. But it was his intensity that caught her. For a serial playboy, he didn't have much play in him. Just devastation. His suit looked like every stitch had been put there just for him. And with one hand resting on his thigh, and the other on a drink that matched her own, he was deliciously casual. Not rumpled, but definitely bearing an invitation to go all places carnal. And God help her, she mentally did exactly that. And then she did her best to reel it in. He got your sister pregnant and dumped her. Not exactly the buzzkill it should have been, but just because her body had a criminal response didn't mean she should throw herself on her back for him. That wasn't something she did for any man. That he tempted her at all was almost as disgusting.